Hey there. Today I'm going to take a look back at some of the models I never got to do a review on and take a dive into two of the best models from the core box in Captain Marvel and Baron Zemo. My name is Nate and welcome to the Gamers Guild. So, while things begin to slow down a little bit around the world of miniatures, I thought it would be a great chance to go back and start looking at some characters that I never had the chance to do a proper review over from the core set. And these two characters have gotten to show off just how good they are time and time again while playing Marvel Crisis Protocol because they have been with us from the very beginning. And now getting to look back and see how they stack up against the other 16 models released is going to be fun. And for the sake of alphabetical order, I'm going to start with the tactical genius Baron Zemo, who has the alter ego of Helmet Zemo. His stamina value is 5, he moves long, is a size 2 character, and has a threat level of 3. His physical and energy defenses are both at 3, while his mystical defense is at 4. His first attack is a physical one called Sword Strike, with a range of 2, strength of 5, and a power cost of 0. It gains power equal to the damage dealt, and on a wild, it causes the bleed condition. His other attack is Steel Rush. It is also physical, has a range of 3, strength of 6, and only costs 2 power. Like Sword Strike, if you get a wild, it will cause the bleed condition, but what I really like about Steel Rush is that no matter what, after the attacker is resolved, Zemo gets to advance medium, making him an extremely mobile character in the middle of the battlefield. It is important that because this doesn't say a move action, it means that Baron Zemo isn't able to climb with this move, but he would be able to use that advance if he is holding something like the Wakandan Herbs that limits the number of move actions you can take. Moving into his superpowers, Zemo has one active superpower that we are all probably quite familiar with at this point, Charge. It costs 2 power and is one of the few superpowers that also costs an action. But for that cost of an action, you're able to get 2 actions back, a move action as well as an attack action. What is really nice about this is obviously the action economy with a long move, but also that it is left open for being able to use Steel Rush if you have the extra power to do so. Of course, Charge can only be used once per turn. He also has a couple of reactive abilities. The first one is Counter Strike. It again costs 2 power, but after a character that is within range 3 of Zemo has resolved an attack against him, Zemo gets to roll 4 dice, and for every crit and wild rolled, the attacker suffers 1 automatic point of damage, meaning there's no defense rolls or anything like that. His other reactive ability, Master Swordsman, is allowing him to reroll any number of dice on the attack or defense of a physical attack as long as the other target is within range 2. And Zemo's last superpower, and maybe my favorite one, is Strategic Genius. It allows Zemo and all allied characters within range 2 of Zemo to reroll 1 die in any attack or defense roll for free. Every time. Nothing changes on his entrance side, which means we can talk pros and cons, and let's be honest, there aren't a lot of cons. The pros really start with a 3-threat character that is so ridiculously mobile. Whether he is able to go snag a Wakandan herb or being able to Steel Rush away from Venom so he can't so many snacks in retaliation to an attack. Or it can just help Zemo get across the board to an objective or help support his team because, oh yeah, he also plays really well with others. His reroll ability is extremely potent next to a character like Captain America who is able to bodyguard Zemo's slightly more fragile body and provide rerolls. So all of that to say, Zemo is able to excel in a group fight because of his free support, and on his own with his rerolls and long moves. The last thing I will say before leaving Zemo is that he is wonderful for dealing with your opponent's weaker pieces. I can lament to a few times where I've seen Zemo down my full health Shuri in a single attack, as well as his ability to do a drive-by, which is to charge at someone, use Steel Rush, and then move past that original target with the extra move. Gives Zemo a wonderful chance at taking on characters like Rocket or Star-Lord who are a little bit squishy and stay away from where a heavier hitter would have to make a much larger effort to get to them. So for Zemo's downsides, I only have 2, and one of them really isn't fair. The first is he himself is a little squishy. Master Swordsman can be okay at most, if every single condition is met on defense, but it's really built for more offensive use. The thing that helps Zemo stay a little bit more healthy is the guaranteed extra reroll he gets from Strategic Genius, and my other nitpick is his lack of secure objective control options. Basically, he isn't able to push or throw anyone off an objective, but I don't think it is a fair nitpick on him because he is one of the best extraction objective players we have in the game. And to expect him to have more tools for 3 threat, I really think is asking for too much. So as far as what affiliations he would play well with, I think the 2 that we've had from the beginning are still where he shines. A day unlike any other, allowing for a round 1 charge and all of his other superpowers only costing 1 power is awesome. And not to mention, he loves to stand next to Cap as Cap bodyguards him and Zemo gives rerolls to Cap. It works out really well. Red Skull's Master of Evil rewards Zemo's more aggressive strategy with extra power, and Zemo plays well with the Dark Rain. Since he has already rerolls in spades, Wakanda and Guardians won't hurt for the consistency, but it may also be a bit overkill, and because he is not a critical piece that needs every last action, he doesn't make a badass Guardian, but he doesn't really shine with the gods like our next character does. Captain Marvel, who has the alter ego of Carol Danvers, has 6 stamina, flies medium, is a size 2 character, and has a threat value of 4. Her physical and mystical defenses are both at 3, while her energy defense is at 4. She has 3 attacks, the first one being a physical strike. It is range 2, strength 5, and has a power cost of 0. It also has that usual line of text on strikes that say she gains power equal to the amount of damage dealt. Her second attack is energy and has called Energy Blast. It is range 4, strength 4, and has a power cost of 0. There are 2 really nice and very important parts about this attack that I enjoy. A free reroll on all of her dice, and a guaranteed 1 power even if the attack doesn't do any damage. The really big thing here is the free reroll, and we'll talk about why in just a moment. Her last attack is Rocket Punch, which is also energy. It has a range of 3, strength of 7, and a power cost of 3. The best part is on a wild you get to hand out Stagger, one of the best status conditions in the game. And while I know that the dice may hate you or love you, but with 7 dice that wild will show its face a lot more than not, thankfully. Getting into her superpowers, she has 2 active and 2 innate. Her first active one is Binary Form, for a whopping 5 power until her next activation, which is a very important line of text. She adds 2 dice to all of her attack rolls and all of her defense rolls. Unfortunately, not the dodge rolls. And before I go crazy about how good this makes her, it is worth mentioning her other abilities. The next one is the active ability Danvers Special for 3 power. She can throw a size 3 character or terrain piece medium, and as with every other throw, it can only be used once per turn. Her remaining powers are both innate. Energy Absorption allows Captain Marvel to let her wilds turn one of your opponent's crits, wilds, or hits to a blank when defending against an energy attack, and she gains a power for each die changed this way. As well, she has innate flying and immunity to poison, which isn't even in the game yet, so take that one as you will. It is worth mentioning that she does not change on her injured side. So, pros and cons time, and really once again it's more pros than cons. Danvers is able to become a rather tanky character with good damage output once she's going binary. And even without her energy defense is quite high. Being able to hand out Stagger is fantastic, but what I really love about Captain Marvel is her range 4 Energy Blast attack that nets her a power back. The best part of all of this is the built-in reroll of every dice in that attack, which means it's also able to affect any dice rolled in by a crit. And there's not even a limit to how many dice from this attack can be rerolled. So even if you're only rolling 4 dice, you can still pretty easily manage to get 3 hits on average. Then getting the extra dice from binary, or a tactic card like 1-2 Punch, or even an objective like the Hammers of the Worthy, just increases the value of this attack more and more because of the free rerolls from any of those dice. So if you get an Energy Blast off for 7 or 8 dice, it becomes one of the best attacks in the game as far as potential damage output. Not to mention it nets her a power back to help keep up binary form for the rest of the game, so, you know, really strong. As well, I feel like with the Guardians releases being heavily focused with energy attacks, that she becomes even more valuable with her energy absorption to help shut down characters like Star-Lord and Rocket. And of course, having a size 3 throw is never a bad thing to have in the arsenal. Her one con is having a pretty bad time against physical attacks, which are the most common attack type in the game. 3 defense is the average, and she is able to help with binary form, but if you don't do it quickly, there is a chance for someone like Baron Zemo to do a lot of work on her. But really, that's it. One of the best things I can do for Danvers is compare her to Vision because they are so similar that I think it boils down to the affiliations you are wanting to run as to who is the better fit for your squad. And Vision, for those who don't get to play or listen to some of the other content out there, is widely considered one of the strongest characters because of his beam, attack, and diverse defensive abilities. So Vision is good at hitting multiple, while Marvel is better at focusing down one target. Both have a defensive superpower to boost their stats, both can fly, and have a size 3 throw. They are neck and neck. So with that said, I think Marvel stands out better than Vision in one affiliation, and the reverse of that is true as well. With that said, I think Captain Marvel makes a fierce member of the Cabal. Getting the extra power from Masters of Evil from her energy blast guarantee that she's able to stay in binary form turn after turn once she is in the proper position. And while binary form doesn't synergize well with cosmic invigoration, I think being able to pretty easily always have binary form up trumps Vision's gain of the extra power because he can easily always be maxing out on power in his affiliation. And I think for Vision that affiliation is the Avengers because he can then use his power more efficiently and allows that power to go to tactic cards like Follow Me and Patch Up. As for the other affiliations, I think Marvel plays really well with Thor and the Gods because wiping away status conditions before she goes binary seems really important to get the most out of that turn. And again, extra rerolls with Wakanda and Guardians isn't bad, but she already has pretty good access to those. So these are my thoughts on 2 of the strongest characters from the core box, at least in my opinion. I'm curious, who are the top 2 models from the core box that are still holding up in your opinion? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't heard yet, keep an eye on Atomic Mass Games' social media and web pages today as we're getting another free Ultimate Encounter, and this one is for Hulk. But he's not some evil mastermind or just rampaging through the city. Rather, Hulk is trying to save his friends from destroying the town as they have become gamma radiated, and all of this is coming out later today, again, for free, so keep an eye out. Use it as a chance to teach your family or roommates about the game and have a go with it like a board game almost to teach them about it while we're practicing the social distancing. As always, thank you for watching. It really does mean a lot to me, and until next time, keep on gaming.